Good morning, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Shea. Today we're going to read a story called The Tiny Seed by Carle. First thing we need to do is to get our whole body listening. Eyes are watching, ears are listening, voices quiet, bodies calm. This is how we listen, this is how we listen at Storytime. At Storytime. The Tiny Seed by Carle. It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than all the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others and where they are all going? Here are the seeds. And here's the tiny seed. One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up, up, up it goes. It flies too high, and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails on with the others. Here's the seed that went too close to the sun. And here is the tiny little seed. Another seed lands on a tall, icy mountain. The ice never melts, and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. Here's the seed that landed on the cold mountain and can't grow, and here it is, the little tiny seed. Now the seeds fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. The tiny seed. Those are the bigger seeds. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It is hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. Here's the desert, the seed, and here's the tiny seed. It's still going through the air. Finally, the wind stops, and the seeds fall gently down on the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. It is so small that the bird does not see it. The bird's eating the seeds. Here's that tiny, tiny seed. Now it is winter. After their long trip, the seeds settle down. They look just like as if they're going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still, and the mouse does not see it. I can't even see it. All right. After winter comes spring. Now it is spring. After a few months, the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by, the sun shines, rain falls. The seeds grow so round and full that they start to burst open a little. Now they are not seeds anymore. They are plants. First they send roots down into the earth. Then their little stems and leaves begin to grow up towards the sun and air. There is another plant that grows much faster than the new little plants. That's called a big fat weed. It takes all the sunlight and rain away from one of the small new plants, and that little plant dies. The tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It'll be too late. Hurry, but finally it starts to grow into a plant. That's what happens to the seeds. They get roots, and then they come up into a plant. This was the weed that blocked the sun. The warm weather also brings the children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun in springtime. One child doesn't see the plants as he runs along, and oh no, he breaks one. Now it cannot grow anymore. These are still growing. This one can't grow anymore because the child stepped on it. The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is growing fast, but its neighbor grows even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 7. And look, a bud, and now even a flower. But what is happening? First there are footsteps. Then a shadow looms over them. Then a hand reaches down and breaks off a flower. A boy has picked the flower and gave it to a friend. Now it is summer. The tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on and it doesn't stop. It becomes a great big flower that people come from all over the land to look at. All summer long, the birds and bees and butterflies come visiting. They have never seen such a big and beautiful flower. Now it is autumn again. The days grow shorter, the nights grow cooler, and the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower, and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. That's what happens. All the little seeds are in the middle of the flower. The wind blows harder. The flower has lost almost all of its petals. It sways and bends away from the wind, but the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more, the wind shakes the flower, and this time the flower's seed pod opens. Out come many tiny seeds that quickly sail far away on the wind. The end. Now back to the very beginning again of when the little seed grows into a big flower. One more little song, and then we'll be ready to be done. This is my garden. I will rake it with care. I've got some small seeds to plant in right there. The sun will shine and the rain will fall. My seeds will sprout and grow really, really tall. Bye, boys and girls. See you next week.